I've been tagged to do a deadfall trap. So stick around, we'll get to it. What's up everyone, PA Outdoors here. So I belong to a Facebook group which is hosted by 4 Directions Bushcraft. I will put a link in the description box to that Facebook group. It's a really good group, lots of members, lots of great information. But we have decided to do some tag videos, and the first one we're going to do is basically do a setup of your favorite deadfall trap. So I was tagged by Beer, Bourbon, and Bushcraft, so I'm going to do my best here to put this trap together. We'll get outside, we'll get the trap set up. Unfortunately right now the wind has been gusting pretty good, and of course this morning the cab has decided to do helicopter maneuvers today, so it's kind of loud. I'm not even going to try and compete with them and talk over them. We'll run the video without any without me talking, so it's going to be a little tough. I won't be able to do a description as I'm putting it together. What I'll try and do is get some good close-ups of what it all looks like and how it works. But what this is the it's a Paiute deadfall trap. It requires a few things. First and foremost, obviously the big heavy object that's going to fall on the animal, whether it be a large stone or a log. So that's obviously the first part. The second thing you're going to need is some sort of stick with a Y in it. This isn't optimum. I just grabbed this out of the backyard. I'm going to be filming this in my backyard today. Can't get out in the woods. Ideally, this V is going to be, centered and a perfect V. This one's kind of off to one side, but I think it'll still work. So that's your upright. That's going to be stuck into the ground, so it can stand upright on its own. You'll need some sort of trigger. The trigger you want as small, as thin and as light as possible, but still has to be strong because the weight of this trap is going to be all supported by this one small twig. And this is the trigger, so this is where you'll put the bait, and you'll put the bait up as close to the heavy object, the rock, the log, whatever, as possible, so when the creature comes in and grabs that, it's deep enough underneath the trap so it gets caught underneath it. The other things you're going to need are 2 sticks. I'm just using dowel rod because I already had these put together, kind of a training aid for my sons, so I just used a couple of pieces of dowel rods. First one you'll need is going to be about 8 inches long. You're going to cut a groove in it and tie a string around it. And the other end of the string is going to be your toggle. So the toggle needs to be, 1.5 inches, 2 inches long, again with a notch cut right in the center of it, and the other end of the string tied together. And I'm using, I think, number 18 bank line, about 3 inches, plus the extra to be able to tie the 2 knots. And on my toggle, I don't know how well you'll be able to see this, but I kind of just carved just a small flat in it, which is where the trigger is going to sit up against. So, you could put it on the round part, but it may tend to roll. This kind of gives it a little bit better, stronger purchase. So I just kind of put a quick flat in there. Not sure, I think you can see it right there. Yeah, there we go. And without having a ground to put this all together, I'm just going to kind of show you the basic idea of it. So this is stuck in the ground, supporting its own weight, standing up. This stick is going to sit right in the V with the rock or the log leaning against it. So basically this stick is going to be holding the weight of the rock or log up. Now one thing I want to point out is you put this in the ground, you get your stone or log ready. This stick has to be outside of the swing of the trap itself. If it's not, what's going to happen is when the trigger's released, the object is just going to sit on top of this stick and never hit the ground. So you got to make sure this is completely outside of the drop of the heavy object. So now you've got the heavy object sitting on top of here. And obviously what wants to happen is it wants to kick this up because the weight wants to push it all down. So that's where the string and toggle come in. You wrap around the front and bring it around and loop it just like that. So now the stick wants to continue to push down up here, but this toggle is wrapped around, so the toggle wants to kick forwards to release the string and all the tension. So now you got to keep this toggle held out this way, and that's where the trigger comes into play. So now you've got this set up, this is wrapped around, and all the weight wants to pull all of this forward to wrap around to spring the trap. Okay, so you got that. So now how do you keep it from, how do you keep this toggle from spinning forward? That's where the bait stick comes into play. So now if we focus down here, the trigger is resting against this toggle, and it's resting on this end against the weight. So it's sitting like this and against the toggle. So this trigger is what's holding the whole trap from being sprung. That's why you want this as light as possible, so it takes very little weight to pop this off, and that's why you'll put your bait deep inside of the trap. So I know it's kind of hard to picture with me trying to do it here on the table, so we're going to get outside. I'm going to set this up and show you how it looks, give you as many angles as I can, and then we'll spring the trap and I'll show you how it all works. Okay, so there you have it. I hope you're able to see exactly what all was going on right there. I tried to do my best. So basically you see how the whole trap works. And you know, it's a fairly simple trap. Another thing I like about it, it's a little bit hard to manipulate and get set up, but what I do like about it is for kind of beginners, you don't need to know how to make a lot of notches. You don't need to notch the pieces of wood to get them to all sit together nicely. As in a figure 4 deadfall, requires a lot of notching, and I definitely would recommend learning notching skills and learning how to do multiple types of trap setups. The downfall in this one is obviously you need to make sure you have some cordage with you, whether it be stripped down paracord or bank line. I mean, you can use dental floss. It doesn't have to be that strong of line, because realistically most of the weight is being held by the trigger. And these are just simple overhand knots, nothing special about them. You can use slip knots, any kind of knot, any kind of knot that you're comfortable with doing. It goes without saying, you won't find, I don't think you'll find a state in the country that allows this type of trap for sport trap purposes. Even if you got your trapping license, your hunting license, whatever, this is an accepted form of trap. It's not the most humane. So if you're setting this up, obviously you're going to be doing it for practicing. Don't bait it, and when you're all done, you put it up, take it down, put it up, take it down as many times as you need until you feel comfortable. Make sure you take the trap down when you're done. We don't want to actually kill any animals while we're out practicing bushcraft. And like I said, this would be an illegal form of trap. Now, if you're stuck, if you're lost, if you've been out in the bush and you need food, I don't think you're gonna find anyone complaining that you had to do this to keep yourself alive. But if one of these traps is found up and it's not an emergency situation, you get yourself in trouble. So definitely check your local laws, your state laws on trapping before you do something like this to actually catch your food. So again, this was from Four Directions Bushcraft Group. They have two Facebook pages. One is their kind of corporate page, and another is a group. I'm going to put a link down in the description box for the group. It is a great group. If you're into this kind of stuff, into the outdoors, survival, preparedness, homesteading, lots of different things, just camping, I would just say go check the group out. It's a closed group, so you have to join, but that's a pretty easy process, and lots of good information, some really good people on there that are helpful. There's no judging for first timers or newbies, whatever. Everyone's there just to gain information and show off some of their gear. Everyone likes some knife porn every once in a while. In the description box, I'm going to tag a few other people, see them put their traps together, see which ones they like, what styles they like. Now, there's going to be a lot of people that judge my setup out there. It wasn't perfect. I didn't spend a whole lot of time putting it together. It functioned, it was up, it held. That's kind of all I wanted to accomplish with this video. So there you have it. This is PA Outdoors. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, comment on the video. If you like my content, please subscribe. I appreciate it. I'm about 500 and hoping to get more, do some giveaways, things like that. So remember, get outdoors, enjoy yourself, have fun, but remember, be safe out there. Thanks for watching.